The first match of the night was between Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu, but as Cody Rhodes was doing his entrance, Jacob Fatu would attack him and they'd make their way into the crowd, fighting in the crowd, and then they'd go up the stairs, and they go all the way to like where all the food stuff is. You could literally practically see outside, and then the security guard would say, "Think about the Rumble," but then he'd get put through a table, but then they'd make their way back down. Security guard does not want to be here. Then he'd get thrown off into other security guards, and then Drew McIntyre would appear, throw Jacob Fatu through a table, and he'd throw Cody Rhodes through a table as well. The first actual match of the night was between Io Sky and Rhea Ripley against Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez. Here, Liv Morgan tried to stop the hot tag, but Rhea Ripley would get tagged in. Obviously, a big rival between those two. And then, I don't know what this move is. Somehow, Roxanne Perez hit a Hurricane Rana, I think, on Rhea Ripley. Here, a pin would happen, but Raquel Rodriguez would pull Rhea Ripley out of the ring, who would fall on top of the referee. Then he'd throw Io Sky back in the ring. But then Stephanie Vaquer's music hits. Stephanie Vaquer comes out, here's her entrance with no boots, so I guess her injury wasn't that bad. He hit this crossbody and they'd fight in the crowd. But then back in the ring, Rhea Ripley would hit the Riptide, and they would retain. The next match was between AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura. This match didn't have like a ton of crazy highlights, but if you actually watched the match, this was actually a really good match. You'd say AJ Styles here with this big knee. There was a slow motion replay that was actually like a crazy bump. And then AJ Styles would go for the Styles Clash, then they roll through, and Shinsuke Nakamura would hit this knee to AJ Styles, but then AJ Styles with the phenomenal forearm and roll through to the Styles Clash, and AJ Styles would win this match. The next match was the main event between Randy Orton, Damian Priest, Trick Williams, and Sami Zayn. This match, the winner would face Drew McIntyre at the Royal Rumble. Here, Damian Priest would hit this kick, and then Sami Zayn would hit a tornado DDT. But then Randy Orton would hit this, I don't even know what it's called. But anyway, they hit a vintage DDT, but then Sami Zayn would hit a blue thunder bomb, but Randy would kick out. And Sami Zayn would throw Randy Orton on the announce table, but then Randy Orton would throw Trick Williams on the announce table, and then he'd throw Trick Williams on the announce table again, and then he'd do it to Sami Zayn, and then he'd do it to Damian Priest, and then he'd do it to Trick Williams again, and then he'd hit a double DDT. Then Damian Priest would hit a kick on Trick Williams, but then Sami Zayn would hit the haluva kick and pin Damian Priest and win the match, and he's going to face Drew McIntyre at the Royal Rumble.